And welcome to the Delaware Valley Original Music Showcase. Tonight we continue our mission of helping support original music in the Delaware Valley with our three-step process. Listen, experience, and pass on original music in the Delaware Valley. But we need your help to get the word out. So let's get started. Tonight's artist is a throwback, but his knowledge is a blueprint for all original artists in the Delaware Valley. He lives in Montgomery County, and he's recently put full-time effort back into his music. Here is Tom Cooney on the Delaware Valley Original Music Showcase.
Today is full of empty pages. Will it be lost or be one for the ages? Today my soul might get its fill if I keep my heart open and my thoughts still. Today is full of empty pages. Today is full of hope and fear for the things in my life that I hold dear. I might defeat the anger, always crying out for more, if I starve that wood. Today is full of hope and fear. Well, I see that you were tired like me, stunned, infuriated, living a surreal tragedy. But we can beat the hate, the lies, the greed, if we stand together. Love might be our destiny. Today is full of light and truth. I will find it, I will share it with you. I will try in my heart to be kind to friend and enemy alike. Today is full of light and truth. Full of hope and fear. Today is full of empty pages. Empty pages. Empty pages.
So now you got a taste of his music. Let's find out more about him in the interview.
Passion started for me as a young teenager. My oldest brother got back from his first semester away at college. He had learned guitar and spent a lot of time, apparently, that first semester doing it. And he taught me a few chords over Christmas break. And that was it. Within a couple of months, I had a guitar. I was 13. I was learning and playing songs. I was performing out by the time I was 16. So that's how it got ignited. But the fuel that was there was growing up in a household of music, like a lot of people. Both my parents were both avid music fans. We had that big stereo console in the living room that was about 8 feet wide. Records and the radio were on constantly. Everything from opera to classical to the latest Sinatra album. And Of course, I had a lot of older brothers and sisters, so the AM pop radio was on all the time in the car. So you were listening to, you know, Leslie Gore and the Beach Boys and the Beatles and the Stones and the Supremes. And as you know, what was in rotation was only about 20 or 30 songs at a time. So these songs got ingrained in you. So AM pop radio just infused your ears. So I think those are like the three things that kind of got together. The exposure was always there, and then the spark came when my brother had learned guitar.
The breath of twilight caresses the air. The river mist hangs sweet and fair. The evening swallows, they whisper their tune, dancing on.
Well, in high school, I joined all the choirs, and that was always fantastic. We had a great music program at my high school. In college, I studied applied music as a minor, theory and comp and piano. I studied jazz guitar. The teacher was Norman Johnson out of New York City, who happened to be working up in Hartford, where I live. And that was an eye-opener. And I started writing songs when I was about 17 as well. So I played the acoustic folk circuit in Southern New England myself, solo, or myself with a couple other guys as a duo or trio. And we were probably playing out 2 to 4 times a month. We weren't a huge popular band, but it got you out there to sneak in a few of your originals amongst all the covers that you had learned. And it got you tested at being up on stage and making mistakes and having fun and trying not to make them again. So that's kind of how high school, college kind of went along. And then, of course, the IT career started. And as a junior IT person, you had time for lessons, a little time for performance. But as the career got along, and you're like everyone, your responsibilities get pretty big. A couple of kids from a first marriage, and they consume whatever time was left. But I always played. I always had 1 or 2 students. My performance time went down to probably 6 to 8 times a year. But I always wrote a few songs, so it was always there, but it really fell way in the background.
Why have the stars called us here? What is this magic pulsing everywhere? I close my eyes, I hope that I'm soon dancing on the moon.
As I was planning my retirement, I was thinking about, what I was going to do. And music, it never left me. It was always came back. I was still out performing occasionally, sitting in with people occasionally. I was still writing occasional songs. And it was the one thing that really lights your passion. And I said, there's going to be time for this now. So, I think the making of time, the creation of time for it to happen, really helped a lot. And then after that, it's just a commitment. It's getting back to that old groove of you practice every day. You try to write a little bit every day. Most importantly for me as a songwriter, when the song comes, when the idea comes, when the lyrics come, when the melody comes, stop. No matter where you are, what you're doing, what time of day. Because if you think you're going to remember it, or the emotion behind it, it's not going to happen. Really not going to happen. So I think that's the biggest thing for me. Just being aware, keeping some kind of routine, but really being aware when the creativity happens.
From a timeless shadow, you appear resplendent in your smile.
Different artists write in different ways, and different songs come in different way. So for me, different songs come in different ways. The bulk of them come in a process I've described as baking, where I've been thinking about something, about an insight I've had about life, or about a feeling I've had, or about a certain emotion, or a comment I want to make about society in some way. And I'm an introvert, and I'm analytical. So for me, the baking is the process, and until it is done, until the kernel of it comes out and says, this is what I want to say. This is the feeling I want to convey. These are the key words I want to say. I'm ready to write this song. For me, it's the baking process, and being aware when the oven's ringing that I should go take something out. And then there's the handful of songs that every songwriter loves. Stream of consciousness. The whole thing comes. 90% of the lyrics come. They might have a melody attached, and you just run for the pen and hold on tight. And there's not enough of those, as you know. For me, when the song is 80 or 90% baked, where the lyrics are done, the melody's done, the chords are done, I've played it a few times, I'm about to make a rough songwriter's demo of myself, recording it in form of the here, and I'm ready to either play it at a songwriter showcase or to bring it up to my friends at Godfrey Daniels and say, hey, I've got something, folks, what do you think? That point in time right there, that's really exciting. The birthing of the song, because it meant enough that you went and finished it. So you're excited about it, and you want to share it. As an artist, all artists want to share, and they want it to eventually be given over. For me, that's the fun. That's really wonderful. For my serious studio work, I've been working with an audio engineer in Greater Philly called Steve Ball. He runs Sight and Sound Studios, a small private studio. And it's just a smart, kind, gentle person, great ears, knows the software inside out. We're using ProLogic by Apple. He, I know what I want to play when I'm in the studio. And he knows how he wants to capture it. And when we talk about the final arrangement or the final audio separation of where things are going to be in your sphere, of where things will be, how much effect, what kind of effect will be placed over here or over here, it's, I always come with really clear ideas, and that's very important for an audio engineer. But that being said, his input is just fantastic. He's got a great ear. He gives really good advice. I'm very fortunate.
And when our eyes meet, I am off my feet, dreaming all the while.
I think in general, the simplest way to describe it, my original music is contemporary folk with jazz and blues influences. Having, played and sung a lot of jazz and blues and written some simple jazz things, and I write a lot of blues stuff with my blues trio. It just it infuses my writing. I use a lot of extended chords, a lot of chord modulation, but I try not to let it get in the way. It can't be about the theory. It can't sound forced. It has to be about the song and the lyric and the message. But for me, that's what I hear in my head. I hear the extended harmony, and I want to bring it to the song, not bring the song to the theory. For me, the way I learned music, going back to the beginning of our conversation, well, as soon as I learned the guitar, I played songs. Just learned everything by Crosby, Stills and Nash and Paul Simon and Joni Mitchell, and it became a song librarian. For me, singing and learning the songs was the big thing. I loved to sing, and I loved to be able to play almost anything. So that has kind of always my niche. That as my songwriting went on and on and on, it had to sing. I had to be able to sing. It had to be able to be supported by the theory underneath. But for me, it's about the song. It's not about becoming a famous stage musician. I don't want to tour a lot, even though with the way the music industry is right now, that's one of the few things artists have control over. Is where the money is. You hit the road. I have no dreams and no desire to do that. It's just about, it's about the song. And for me, it's always been about, I'm fascinated with the American Songbook, the Great American Songbook, as it's been over the last 120 years. Gershwin and Porter and Jerome Kern and all the stuff that Ella Fitzgerald and Sinatra sang. There are hundreds and hundreds of gorgeous, beautiful songs. And for me, the song is the kernel. It's the thing. What can you create and conceive and deliver? Or if you're picking a cover to sing or play, what can you bring to that cover? Why is that song important to me? And so I try to let people know that, hey, I'm playing this cover, and I'm going to put a little twist on it, but I'm always going to emphasize the lyric. I'm always going to honor the song. For me, I would tell an artist to play, to pick up the instrument, to play, that it's about the repetition and the comfort. And there's a muscle memory aspect with guitar as well. This is like a sport or like piano. You have to train your muscles to do exactly what you want them to do at the exact millisecond. So pick up the instrument, play daily if you can. And if you're writing, just write. Write descriptive things, write poems, start writing a song. And probably the biggest piece of advice that I got about writing was, because I was always criticizing myself too much and not finishing songs, and it was don't silence your inner critic. Almost everyone has a really strong inner critic. You have to learn how to control it. You can let the inner critic out when the thing is shaped and written and needs some editing, sure, but otherwise, don't hamper yourself. Just do it. And don't criticize yourself too early. There'll be plenty of time for that later.
A perfect moment, it never comes. Yet here we dream in. Our lips touch, the world is new.
I just finished 60 live stream performances in the last 2 months. So, including my weekly show on Facebook every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. I do a half-hour show with 2 originals and a cover. It's on Facebook Live Tuesdays at 4 p.m. So that's always challenging. I try to put out new things during that as well. And I'm finishing up an EP with the producer I mentioned, Steve Ball, down in Philly. And I've been working with a great keyboard player, Gene Galligan, who's a great keyboard and synth player. So we've got about 7 or 8 things done in the can. We have to pick which 6 or 7 we want. Do some final editing. The problem has been finding time to get back into the studio because everyone is social.
more music here on the Delaware Valley Original Music Showcase.
It's in the shift of the wind, in the lowing of the light, in the first hint of feeling restless where change does abide. It's in the first mighty geese flying north, in a bed of ferns crackling to life, when your heart learns it can't live alone, you know it is time. So take that step, small and unsteady, take that breath, one at a time. Hold the now in the palm of your hand, sacred and wild. Steady your heart, steady your gaze, steady ahead, there's only today. Time and love, the great healers, they're coming your way. Coming your way. Coming your way. This is the day you will find what was stolen, the day you reclaim your role of great river. Soon love will flow. So take that step, small and unsteady. Take that breath, one at a time. Hold the now in the palm of your hand, sacred and wild. Steady your heart, steady your gaze, steady ahead, there's only today. Time and love, the great healers, they are coming your way. Coming your way. Hospital shift ends. I shed my tears, shed my clothes, leave my band of brothers and sisters on the front lines to carry the load. I trudge on home to my family. I kiss them through the glass of my back porch where I sleep. I Don't know how much more I can last till I hold their hands, hold their hearts. So I smile to let them know they are still loved, they have respect. But soon it's time for work, so I go. I ain't no hero, but I know there's a life I can save. This is my calling, so I go. I hope I make it home today. I hope I make it home today. We need more tests, we need to trace my day-old mask can protect my face. We need ventilators and leaders with heart. Man, what a screwed up human race. Every patient is some all those things to them. If I'm the last one at the end, so I hold their hands, hold their hearts. I smile to let them know they are still loved, they have respect. And if it's time, just let go. I ain't no hero, but I know there's a life I can save. This is my calling, so I go. I hope I make it home today. I ain't no hero, but I know there's a life I can save. This is my calling, so I go. I hope I make it home today.